Hello and welcome back to our object-oriented programming lessons. My name is Rodolfo Novello, and in this lesson I'd like to talk to you about one of the tenets of object-oriented programming, polymorphism. The four basic tenets are abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. As described by Wikipedia, polymorphism is the provision of a single interface to entities of different types. I'd like to show you how to accomplish this in three different ways: via inheritance, via abstraction, and via interfaces. So let's start with inheritance. I want to show you what I already have here. I have three basic classes: car, toy, and phone. Okay, they are products that you probably sell, and you have them as classes. And let's say that you want to have a print method that will give you a printout of that particular object. Okay, so car has a print method, phone has its own print method, toy does not. Okay, but in your main program you want to treat them all as the same type of entity. So let me, before we go here, let's say that we want to populate three objects: car 1, toy 1, and phone 1. Okay? And we want to get a printout of what we have as our inventory. In order to accomplish that, one way to do it is create a product base class and derive the other three from it. In our product base class, we have a product ID and a virtual print method that we can use inside of a toy, which does not have it. So what we can do is make this one a derived class of product. The same with toy, product, and the same with phone, derived product. Okay, but now we have a problem, because we need to override the base class print method, which already is virtual. So as long as the method is virtual, we can override it inside of our derived classes. So we want to override our print method. We go to the phone class. Okay, so right here we have our three objects from the three derived classes: car, toy, and phone. And since product added a product ID property, we can use that in our derived class population. So we have a product ID that's been added to car. As you can see here, car does not have a product ID, but now since it is derived from the product base class, now we can use that property. So we have these three objects that we want to handle in a similar manner. So what we can do is we can create or a list of objects of type product, which is the base class, and treat them as if they were of the same type. So we can add to my inventory the object car 1, object toy 1, and object phone 1 as if they were of the same type. And then right here under this for each block, we can get a printout of our inventory in one pass. So let's see how this works. If you remember, cars has its own print. So we're going to see the word car. Phone has its own print method. We're going to see the phone string. And then we have the toys, which does not have a print method, but it inherits it from our product base class. So we're going to see product ID only. So if we go to our program and we run it, we see car, Chrysler, blah, blah, blah. The second one, which is the toy, only gives us ID number 2. And phone says phone, Samsung, blah, blah, blah. So we were able to treat them all as one type of object. Okay, so that is polymorphism based on inheritance. Let me show you a different approach by using abstraction, which is slightly different from this. Using abstraction, what we have is a product class that is marked as abstract, and our print method is also marked as abstract, but there is no implementation. If you remember, when you use abstraction, you just define the method that you want your derived classes to implement themselves, and they must implement that method. So we're going to have a problem with the toy class. So the car class has its own print method that overrides the abstract print, which is what we want. Toy does not. Thus, we get this squiggly line here. Does not implement inherited abstract member product.print. Phone does, so this one does not give us a problem. So let's add a print method to comply with the abstract requirement for this print method. So now all of our classes which derive from product implement their own print method. So we can now treat them as the same type of product in our original program lines. So we have we're populating car, toy, phone, and then we add them to our inventory, and then we iterate through them to get a printout. So let's see how that works. Okay, so we see that it works exactly as we expected. So that's using abstraction. Now let's say that one of our classes has nothing to do with a product. Let's say that it is an animal. We have a list of animals. Let me show you that class that I created here. We have an animal class that is not part of an inventory. This one just talks about the animal and what species it is. So we cannot necessarily use a product ID on an animal. So we're going to use interface. Let me show you how that works. So let's start by creating an interface class. So we go to add a new file. an empty interface. Let's call it iPrintable. Okay, and in the interface we want to declare a print. Let's see, void. So in this case, yeah, we're not using the product class anymore. Let me remove this. And we want iPrintable. Okay. And toy, we want iPrintable. Phone, we want iPrintable. And animal, we want it also to implement the iPrintable interface. Okay. And of course, we get this squiggly line that says the animal does not implement the interface member iPrintable.print. So we need to add. So now, okay. We are not overwriting. Okay. It just tells us you have to implement it, not overwrite it, because an interface class does not implement the interface itself. Okay. Phone, no overwriting. And animal, no overwriting. Okay. So now let's populate an animal object. Of course, we don't have product ID. Let me remove these lines. We're not treating them as products in an inventory. Let's just call it my list. Okay, so let's refactor, rename, and we want to call it my list of objects. Okay, and they're not of type product, they are of type iPrintable. iPrintable. Okay, so let's create an animal. Animal 1. A new animal. And animal 1 dot common name. Let's say it's a dog. And animal 1 species. Let's say canine. Okay. So if we wanted to print, and let's add it to my list. My list of objects, add animal 1. Okay, and let's run it. And there you go. We have all of our different types of classes in one list that we can print, we can treat as the same type, all iPrintables, including the animal. Okay, so that's polymorphism in a few words. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.